Hello guys, today is time for birds. Okay, let's go ahead. Oh. Vertebrates. Fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals. Today is birds. What's this? Okay, just tell me. What do you think it is? It looks like a dinosaur foot or something like that, huh? What do you think? Is it a velociraptor? Well, it could be, huh? That feet looks quite a bit like this. Well, it is not. It is an emu. It is this animal here, okay? This kind of bird. Yeah, as we saw in the first presentation I did for you, introducing vertebrates, we have been going through evolution. Okay, so after invertebrates, life is getting more complicated. You remember, after invertebrates, the first evolution was for cartilaginous fish, then bony fish, then they came out of the water for amphibians, and then amphibians they evolved to reptiles, and after reptiles we have bird. Okay, it's an evolution of reptiles, and that's why their feet they look quite a bit like reptile feet. So what are birds? Just let me hide myself because I don't want to bother you. Birds are vertebrate animals adapted for flight. And what are the characteristics that make them fly? Okay, from one side, they have an aerodynamic body. Okay, they have to oppose the least resistance to air when flying because air is difficult for animals, so they have to be aerodynamic. Okay, just like fish in the water, they have also aerodynamic body. Okay, they have feathers. This is a characteristic of birds. If it doesn't have feathers, it's most likely is not a bird. Okay, you have two kinds of feathers. You have feathers which are designed for flying, like this one, but other feathers they are designed for keeping the animal warm, like the owl down here. Okay, what more? They breathe through lungs, but they have something which is very curious. They have air sacs. Okay, look at this picture here. Birds have up to 9 air sacs in their body, and these air sacs they are designed to store air. Okay, why is that? Because some birds they fly at very high altitudes, and in these very high altitudes there is very little oxygen in the air. Okay, so what they do is like climbers which go to Everest that carry their own oxygen in a backpack. Okay, birds they keep the air in these air sacs, and when they are in high altitude they use the air from these air sacs to provide oxygen to their lungs. Okay, that's really amazing. And then for the first time let's welcome our first endodermic animals, our first hot-blooded animals. This is an evolution of compared to reptiles that have allowed birds to invade cold areas. They have feathers which protect them, and they have the capability of keeping their body temperature regardless of the temperature outside. What more? They have 4 limbs. They have the wings, which are the four limbs, and they have scaly legs with 4 toes and big claws like this owl down here. Their bones are thin but strong. Okay, and in order to make them strong, they are hollow, and they have this kind of internal structure that makes it very, very strong with the same density, or well, actually it has more density. This means that contrary to general belief, the skeleton of birds is not lighter, it is stronger. They have bones which are more dense than the bones of the rest of vertebrates. But in order to not make bones too big, that's why they have these hollows here. Okay? If you have any doubt, I will explain it more in the classroom. Okay? What more? They don't have teeth. Their mandibles form a beak, and the shape is adapted to the type of food they eat. Okay? If they have to, let's go back. If they have to break seeds from conifers, they have this kind of beak. If they have to eat grain, they have this kind of beak. If they have to break the wood, they have, like the woodpecker, they have this kind of beak. If they have to eat flesh of animals, they have the kind of beak like a hook of raptors. If they have to fish, they have the shape of pelican, for instance. You see, there's a great variety of shapes, and it's amazing. Nutrition in birds. Birds, we have some birds which are carnivores, some fish, some eat meat, other vertebrates. Here you see this flock of birds just fishing in the catching fish in the water. Other birds, they are insectivores, so they eat insects. And then you have herbivore birds also, which eat fruit, or like hummingbirds, they can eat nectar. Okay, you see this one just using their tongue here for picking up the nectar. Reproduction in birds is no big deal. It's very similar to that of reptiles. They are oviparous. They reproduce sexually through internal fertilization, but they have some very funny mating ritual to attract the females. You see here this paradise bird trying to attack this female. He's doing this kind of dance, and I don't know, maybe this gives you an idea to to attract females of the human species. You see here trying. What do you think? Is this going to be successful or not? Birds, they lay, like reptiles, they lay amniotic eggs with an impermeable shell, but they usually put it in nests, and parents must incubate the eggs to keep them warm. Okay? Main types of birds. In this case, is going to be easier than in the reptiles. Take a look to this. This is the skeleton of a bird that fly, and you see this bone here in blue. This is called the keel or carina. Okay? This is an extension of the sternum. The sternum is a bone which you have in the middle of your chest, and you can touch it. It's very hard. This is the sternum developed because they have their breast is so big and so strong in order to be able to fly, that it needs a bigger structure to hold these muscles. Okay? The keel here is able to support these big muscles that move the wings and enable birds to fly. But what happens is that some birds, they do not have this keel. Like this one, this is the skeleton of a kiwi, a bird called kiwi. And you see it has a flat sternum, just very similar to ours. So that means that it has very small breast muscles, which unfortunately are unable to make it fly. So it doesn't have a keel, and this bird cannot fly. Okay? So then we have these two kinds of birds. We have carinates, which are the birds that can fly and have this developed keel, and you have ratites, which are the birds that don't have a keel. Okay? Carinates. This includes the majority of birds. Most of birds, they are carinates. They can fly, but some of them, they cannot fly, but they are carinates whatsoever, like penguins. Penguins have a keel. They don't fly, but on the contrary, they swim very well, and they have very strong breasts because they use it for swimming. The wings, they are well developed in most of carinates, and well, you have here gulls, finches, falcons, vultures, most of the birds. Ratites, on the other hand, they don't have a heel, but they have strong legs. They cannot fly. Their wings are small, they are atrophied. They don't have keel, but they have strong legs because they are fast runners. And in here you have a few birds like ostrich, cassowary, rhea, kiwi. Okay? So this is it. Let's go for our cool birds. Did you know that common swifts, what we call in Spanish vencejos, which are very similar to golondrinas, they remain airborne for 10 months straight. That means that they keep flying for 10 months without touching the ground. Okay, they sleep in the air, they do everything in the air for 10 months. That's amazing. we have also kiwi, which we saw before. Look at here. This is the egg of a kiwi. Compare it with the rest of the body. The kiwi has the biggest egg to body ratio. 20% of its body weight is the egg weight. That, if we translate that to human nature, that means that if your mother is 50 kilos, she would have a baby of 10 kilos. Okay, that's really a lot, because usually a baby is more or less 3 kilos, 3.5. This means that a human baby with this 20%, this would be 3 times bigger than what actually babies are. Just tell your mothers and see how they react to this. It's going to be very funny. And then we have this cool bird here, which is fishing, but it's not fishing like we saw before. It's throwing a piece of bread. There is this big fish that it doesn't like because it's too big. It takes the bread again and then waits for a smaller bird and then just throw the bait and just take a look. Just take it. Yeah, wow, this is a smart bird. Okay, let's go back to our mind map. We saw fish first, bony fish, cartilaginous fish. Then we saw amphibians, anurans with no tail, urodels with tail. Reptiles, chelonians, turtles with a shell. Crocodilians, large, scaly, thick skin, big teeth, big jaws, and squamates, the reptiles that change their skin. And here we had saurians, which have 4 legs, and ophidians, which don't have legs, okay, like snakes. And now we have seen birds. We have been carinates, which are the birds that fly, and ratites, which are the birds that don't fly. So we are almost done, guys. Let me come back, because I want to tell you goodbye, and you can go and take a rest. Bye.